This universe is so much bigger than her. It is so much bigger than her. And it's kind of been divorced from her. And you can engage in the things that you love without giving her money. There are enough, within the Harry Potter fandom community, there are enough creators where you can go and support their small business and lift them up without giving her coins. I do not think that we have to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Monique, welcome to the show and congratulations on being our first guest of 2021. By now, a lot of folks on the page have probably seen you around the comment section, but for those of you who don't know, you are the author of The Heroes of Winterbury and the creator of the Facebook and Instagram community over at The Wand That Chose Me. My first question is, which is actually a surprise question. What would you call the folks over in the House of Wands? If BTS fans are called Army and Star Trek fans are Trekkies, what are the folks on your
First
page
of all,
called?
I've actually been thinking about this because I think names are fun like that. I don't know. It's kind of something that I think would be a fun exercise to kind of give to the community. Like, let's vote. Let's create a poll. Like, what do you want to be called? Because I think that that's just fun.
Mhm.
And I have no idea.
Now, my actual first question is, what was the single moment that inspired you to actually start the page?
Um, just the idea of, I know that for me, everything that I am goes into what I put out into the world. And that includes my anxiety, my issues with depression, whatever sense of neurodivergence exists in me, as well as the knowledge that I bring to the page, that I bring to my life, my sense of wanting to be encouraging and a good friend and being a mom. And all of those things are part of the core of my wand, you know, good, bad, and indifferent. I use that when I go and I put magic into the world. And so those are the things that chose me, but I'm not limited by them. I'm empowered by them.
Now, one of the things that I know that folks might not know about you on the page is that you're a huge Harry Potter fan. And so much so that is actually served as a large part of the inspiration for the page. Now, if we had this conversation in the early 2000s, we'd be singing the praise of J.K. Rowling. But obviously, in 2021, that reputation and legacy is a whole lot different, especially given her deeply homophobic and transphobic ideologies. My question to you is, one, do you still support Harry Potter culture? And if so, how do you respond to people that criticize your support as, enabling J.K. Rowling? So how do you sort of navigate this space?
It's an interesting concept. One of my kids is trans, and the Harry Potter universe is something that we've literally raised our kids with, to the point that we have a house point chart. And that's how they would, when they were younger, that's how they would earn allowance. And so my Ravenclaw, who is trans, that's a huge part of their identity as someone who is non-binary. And so the idea that someone would tell them that they are being transphobic by enjoying this space in Harry Potter, that's a little ridiculous. And yeah, there is some inherent bigotry that people have, or like anytime you see gay conservatives voting for Mike Pence. I mean, that's a little bit like voting against your own self-interest. But
Hmm.
I think what I what I say to people is that this universe is so much bigger than her. It is so much bigger than her, and it's kind of been divorced from her. And you can engage in the things that you love without giving her money. There are enough, within the Harry Potter fandom community, there are enough creators where you can go and support their small business and lift them up without giving her coins. I do not think that we have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't think that, like, we can, J.K. Rowling is trash and she will forever be trash and she can go fuck herself. That's just where that's where it ends. But that doesn't mean that we have to, this huge, huge community that has been so supportive. I mean, literally, Harry Potter told us that no one should have to live in the closet. And as a bisexual who spent 35 years in the closet, I really, really understand that. But I don't think that we have to, I don't think it has to be all or nothing. And
Hmm.
that's part of why I wanted to talk about, identity, and what is that? What does that crisis look like when, you know, you are a member of a community that other people are, seeking or voting against or working against, but they've created something that also empowers you. Like, how do you balance that? And I don't think it has to be an all or nothing thing. And I definitely understand the hurt that comes from that community. I do. I just don't think that we have to completely erase Harry Potter from our lives. I don't know how we would do that. I
Yeah,
really don't know how we would do that. But you can maintain your love of something without supporting the creator.
100%. Yeah, it's like, I know that we've touched base on this, but it's like the whole controversy with, say, for example, Disney. You have
Mhm.
companies like Disney who, on one hand, you can have a lot of critiques in terms of their influence, um, and their dominance in media, and the fact that they're just swallowing companies left and right, and they have this influence on Marvel and how those movies turn out. And so it's like, on one hand, there's the criticism that we can levy against a lot of these media properties or these different creators who are problematic, or these companies that are problematic. But on the other hand, is what you were mentioning about the larger community that is a part of this and who wasn't a part of this whole bigoted thing. And it's kind of like, when people try to harass, for example, Chick-fil-A employees, not realizing that, like, the Chick-fil-A employee isn't the one who implemented, like, you know anti, like, homophobic ideologies. That's coming from a different place. And
Exactly.
it's just understanding, like, within a system, who is responsible for what, and not shitting on the person at the bottom, and not shitting on the community for something that was implemented on a more executive CEO level.
And I think they're also, because I mean, I've heard similar um, boycotts of Walmart and Target. And I think one of the things that people really have to realize is not everyone is privileged enough to boycott Walmart.
Yeah.
If that is because Walmart is in a lot of rural communities where maybe there's nothing else there. And if that's the only place that a person can buy groceries, they're going to need to buy fucking groceries.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the fact that they need to use that place doesn't mean they're bigoted. It doesn't mean that they're supporting it. And if we were going to start erasing or canceling every single company that had problematic executives, we'd be fucked.
Yeah.
And we're shitting ourselves and kidding ourselves if we think that we can do that, because at every, especially the higher up you go, because yay, capitalism, there are going to be problematic people at the top all
Yeah.
the time. And if there's like, what are you going to do? You cannot divorce yourself from absolutely everything because it's not possible to do that, especially for poorer communities or marginalized communities. Like, we just don't have a choice.
Yeah, 100%. And you spotlighted it perfectly, of, you know being a member of a sort of corrupt system, and understanding that, you know just because you are involved in this system and there are ways that you can be complicit, doesn't mean that you can't criticize it. Doesn't mean that you can't both understand that it is sort of a necessary evil, in the same sense that Walmart is available as sort of the only place where people can buy medication, or food or groceries, but at the same time still say, but Walmart should still pay their employees a living wage. Walmart should
Mhm.
still be treating their essential workers with pride and dignity, not just throwing them under the bus.